Alrighty, so for week 8, our items are e-commerce, building out your menu and some of your pages, and the whole thing about Walmart and Amazon. So let's just get into the first part. So you have 2 videos for this e-commerce part of our class. Okay, so this one is a compare, and I want you to use the same file on ecommerce.md, and you can just put this in your lectures, or you can build a subdirectory. And this video is the compare video. And what you'll do here is take notes, use that heading, then use the heading for changing trends here, and then take notes on the second video. Okay, so that's what you need to do to complete that one. Make sure your notes cover the entire video. That's what I'll look for in your submission. So you'll have one file with 2 headings representing the 2 notes. Okay, so for the next item in week 8, I had said this, I believe, in week 7, but now you actually are going to do it if you didn't. So I want you to complete your menu and build out some of your pages. And I'm going to say 10 at least, okay? So I'm giving you kind of every week I try to give you something related to the Project Zero, so this will be that. So I'll walk you through I started, and I'll just walk you through kind of the thinking I'm going to do about the way I'm going to approach mine. And then in your reply, tell us which pages you built out and discuss any challenges you had for this work. So I have my site over running it locally. Again, I use something called Live Server. You could have done this just as easily by opening up your index file on your browsers, right-click Open In. So right now, here's my index file. And then I have built out from last time at least what was going to be on the menu. But what I hadn't done, and this is what you want to do, is not only build out the menu. So you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4 menu items. And each of those needs to go to a separate page. So in this case, I didn't do this last time, so I'm going to do it this time. And I'll just show you, I did build out also, if I go to my life, I did build out 2 subpages. Now, obviously, you get to decide which 10 you want to do. Might make sense to kind of build out one menu item and then build out another, but I'm not going to also dictate the way you do this. And so then I built out house, and all I did is I put some simple content so I would know which item I was on or which page. And again, I need to come back later and put in the images, but at least this gives you that start. And the other thing I think I'd like to do, and I'd have to figure this out, instead of these simple links, I could use this button that was here, so I could think about doing that. But let me just show you from my code. So let me switch over to VS Code here. And here's what I've added since we were all last together is I added my life HTML. Now what I did is I pared down that menu or all that content, right? And so you can see that here that doesn't have a lot of that. It's got for me, a masthead, which is that center content and that image, right? So I did that. So I didn't have as much content as well. And by the way, one of the areas when I say you need to update all content, this would be one of those places. Like your website would probably want to be your name. And then the rest of these aren't linked somewhere, right? So, but making sure you've updated all the content. So here's what I've done. So first I started with my index page. And on my index page, I changed, instead of the anchor link, I actually changed to the physical files. Now, the physical files are not there yet, but I've at least updated my menu to reflect them. So I'm working now on my life page, right? But I'm just giving you the idea of how I approach this. And I think it's a good idea to actually make sure you have this index page set up to the best of your ability, because then, and you might take this content page and copy it down to the other ones, or you might use that new one, however you've done it. But just remember, you're going to need to recreate this, or whatever this is for you, on each subpage. So it just makes it a little easier if you have coded that page out before you go to copy it. Okay, so let me just show you how I had my house done. I told you that one. So I'm gonna take this content, I'm gonna copy it, and then I'm gonna remind myself on house, oh yeah, my food. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a new file. I'm gonna call it food.html. Now, by the way, keep these pages simple is a good idea. Don't put uppercase, lowercase. That's not a good idea. Keep them as lowercase. If you want to give them longer names, just make sure it's all lowercase. It'll just make your life easier. So now I'm going to paste that. Okay, so now that I have this page, I'm going to scroll up to the top. I'm going to find, because this is one of the areas that ultimately when you turn it on, so my food. Of course, I will come back through later, right, and do a little more here. But for now, I'm just building out these sub pages, and I would say about my food, right? Cool, and it gives those 2 pages there. So let's just see if it works. Again, I have my editor set up to auto save, so as soon as I change something, it saves it. And by coming over here and going into life, I can see that I did have that house one, which is awesome. And because I built those 2 links out, when I click on food, that also works. And again, checking to make sure this is just a good time to update that unique title page there. So you want to just continue this process out, right? So if I was to do the next one, because I only built in my sub pages, let's go here, right? I only built those 2 out, then I've got to take that. So let me just show you what I mean, because I would have, if I was really doing this, but you know, sorry, I'm looking at this trying to figure out why that LI is there. It really shouldn't be, because you don't need that there. It should be LI. Oh yeah, so actually it does. So this is one of the things too about making sure your code looks good, because it'll be easier to read, right? So let's say I was going to take this one, right? And then I'm going to come here. Now, one of the things I know that if I don't, and you'll learn this too when you're coding, right? I'm going to go back there. I'm going to call this other one maybe my pet. Call this one pet, right? And say my good, right? That works. Now, this is on the life one. So the thing I'd have to do, because I didn't do this before I started building out the pages, I have to go to house, right? I have to go to house, and oh yeah, it's not there. So I'd put that one in there. That's the benefit. I guess that's what I'm trying to show you. That's the benefit of before you start to build those, whatever those subpages are going to be, is have this little, however you're going to link them done. It just makes it a little easier. But if not, you're just copying and pasting, which we will talk about towards the end of the semester, why this is a good exercise to do, but when you're really building websites, you do this a little more, not a little more, you build it dynamically versus manually. But it's a good way to know how to do this. Okay, so now I've added the pet here, I've added it into life, I've added it into house, but I didn't add it into food. So I got to come back here and do that again. Like, okay, that's there. So now I can see it show up here. And because I like to keep things consistent, and that's another one where it's like, oh man, because they're all on all different pages, I got to make sure they're consistent, because that's important to me and it's important in the website. And a little capitalization may not seem like a big deal, but it is. So now I have my menu at least done here. I haven't built out my sub pages. I have my first page that has 3 links, and I have 2 of those done. So now what I could do is take my life one again, copy it, create another new page called pet.html, paste that. It's like, okay, go up to the top. Again, the benefit, yeah, I think you start to see the benefit of doing a little better planning than maybe what I'm showing here, but hopefully you get the idea. I'm gonna go my pet. right? Come down here, my site, those all work, right? Oh, actually, yeah, the menu works. That's great. That's great. That's great, right? So that all works. And now the other thing, I'll come back here. I see that this still says my life. So what I'd want to do, at least so I could see that it's there, right? See, I didn't capitalize it there, and good, that shows up. So coming back to the assignment, at least give you enough to where I want you to build out at least 10 pages. Now, again, you don't have to figure out all the content. You don't have to figure out all the images. Although, again, the more you work on this, the more next week when it's actually due will be easier. Okay? All right, so the last item for this first due date is one I've been thinking about because, with the change in our world, there really is an interesting change going on related to e-commerce, and this is, of course, is a big battle between, and I don't know, big battle is maybe the right word, but between what's happening with Amazon and can it catch up with Walmart? Can it catch up with Amazon and e-commerce? So I want you to watch the whole thing, right? Watch this video and then give your thoughts on this concept because I'm very interested to see what you think about this. Have you shopped at Walmart? Do you shop at Amazon? Do you see why these have become even more popular during this time in our world? And do you think Walmart can catch up? So this is really, and by the way, it is good in an example like this to actually find articles that would maybe give you a little more depth and as far as, you know, other articles, writers who have an opinion about this as well. Now, I'm not going to require links, but I think part of what I would hope you would do just in general is maybe go to the next step and find some more information that would help you understand this if this video didn't give you that, or if you feel like there was somebody that helped explain your position a little more. But again, watch the whole video, reply with your thoughts. You have to have 150 words and 2 substantive replies. Okay, I think that's it. So my job now is to go work on the second one for week 8. We are getting closer. Hope you're staying focused and reaching out for help when you need it.